songs. I like being poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls on broken plastics inundated orb that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and we are supposed to be kicking off spring practice today, but as many of you probably already know, Tennessee has pushed that start date back to Thursday. But no worries, we still plan to go live tonight, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Really going to be the first time that all four of us get a chance to sit down and kind of discuss what we're looking forward to this spring, what we are looking, the things that excite us, kind of gauge the excitement level. And it's always fun to interact with you guys live on air. But anyways, let's get into the video. And as always, make sure you do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on those live streams. And also smash that thumbs up, destroy it. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps the channel and it gets this content out to more Tennessee fans like you and like us. So let's get on with the video. I shared this article a little bit earlier. It's on sportsillustrated.com, storylines to watch during Tennessee's spring practice. And I said I was going to come back to it because we have already kind of talked about the quarterback competition, made a couple of videos about the linebackers, and I think the Indy Kid is planning to drop something. It may not be today, it may be tomorrow, really looking at the overall defense. So make sure you tune in for that. But a lot of you guys, you wanted to talk about the offensive line. And this mentions the offensive and defensive line, but we're going to focus on the offensive side of the ball today. And there's a lot to be excited about with this football team. And that's been the direction that we've kind of gone with this channel, is who's going to win that quarterback battle. You know, the Indy Kid talked about all the potential talent in that wide receiver room. But when you look at the offensive line, there's a lot of question marks. There's reason to be concerned. I saw somebody in the comments talking about the lack of depth at that position. And it's definitely a concern, especially when you talk about Josh Heupel's fast-paced offense. I think I saw a stat, I think it was 24/7 where I saw it, said the Vols averaged 66 snaps per game on offense last season. Josh Heupel and UCF, 86, 20 more snaps per game. So first and foremost, this offensive line, can these guys get physically ready for this speed of play? That same article went on to say that Jeremy Pruitt was openly critical of the offensive line's conditioning last season. So before we even talk X's and O's or depth chart, can these guys get physically ready to go? So let's take a look at the article. Again, it's on sportsillustrated.com. Says on the offensive side, Tennessee's offensive line will look drastically different in terms of scheme and familiar faces. Trey Smith opted for the NFL, while Brandon Kennedy did not return for a seventh year, and Wanya Morris transferred to Oklahoma. I think you also, when you look at that, when you look at this article, I think you also got to add Jameer Johnson. I think you need to add Jameer Johnson into the mix when you're looking at this. Last two seasons, Trey Smith started 22 games. Brandon Kennedy started 21 games. But the real question is, who is going to step up? Who is going to take over that left tackle position? Because, again, I do mention Jameer Johnson going to Texas A&M because Jameer Johnson and Trey Smith have gotten every start of the last two seasons at that left tackle. So who's going to step up and fill that void? Let's continue the article here. It says, still, Tennessee has talent up front. It will just be finding the proper fit. Cade Mays returns and should be the leader of the line, but who joins him? Cooper Mays started the last two games at center for Tennessee last fall, and the new scheme could benefit him tremendously. Jerome Carvin will look to find his group as he starts with a clean bill of health, and this is a prove-it year. A prove-it year for Darnell Wright. I like that, who has not lived up to his billing on a consistent basis to this point of his Tennessee career. Says he should benefit from a more athletic play and space style of offense Tennessee will utilize. You know, like I said, I like that. I like that it's a prove-it year for Darnell Wright, a guy that came in with all this hype, former five-star. You know, we thought the offensive line going into last season was going to be the strength of this football program. And even the offensive line themselves calling themselves the TVA Dam. But like the Indy kid liked to say all year long, they looked more like Boone Dam. Darnell Wright needs to put in the work. He needs to lock down that right tackle spot. There needs to be no questions asked. Darnell Wright needs to step up and deliver. No shuffling around, no trying to find who's going to be the guy. Darnell Wright may start, may not start. All these question marks. So many question marks last season trying to figure out who's going to be the guy. Lock it down. Darnell Wright needs to step up. He has something to prove. I hope he plays pissed off. I really hope that Darnell Wright plays pissed off with a chip on his shoulder. Let's continue the article here. It goes on to say veterans Riley Locklear and Kajon Calvert should both factor into the rotation and challenge for playing time, while younger guys like Javonte Spraggins, Jackson Lampley, James Robinson, and William Parker will look to make their presence felt. There will be a lot of eyes in the trenches. I think when it comes to depth, some of the young guys, they're going to have to emerge. They're going to have to rise to the occasion because I think Tennessee has some talent across the line. Once they figure out who is going to be that guy at left tackle, I think they can start to fill out, their starting five. And that, going back to what I said earlier, that's something that I never liked with Jeremy Pruitt. They never settled on a position. I get the idea, the benefit of, being able to move guys around if somebody gets hurt, shuffle them, move them, put them where you need them to be. But at some point you would think you would like to see some continuity. Let guys settle into a position, get comfortable with who's on their right, who's on their left. But when you look at your top, 7, 8 guys, I think you've got some talent. When you look at tackles, Kajon Calvert, Darnell Wright, again, Darnell Wright, former 5-star, got to step up. Guards, Cade Mays, Jerome Carvin, Spraggins. Center will be interesting. I think, Cooper Mays got a couple of starts there towards the end of the year. I would like to think that he would be the guy at center. Riley Locklear, another guy, veteran with experience. I don't, talking about the center position, do they give a guy like Carvin or even Spraggins a chance at center? Do they try to – it's going to be interesting to see where guys move and shuffle. Do you think they try to move maybe Cade Mays to the left tackle spot? He played some tackle at Georgia. I think he's better off to be at guard. That's just my opinion. Earlier I mentioned I talked about Darnell Wright and living up to the hype that he brought as a 5-star prospect. Another guy I want to see rise to the occasion is Spraggins. And, they did mention him in this article. The kid played 8 games last year as a freshman, and I think he has a ton of upside, ton of potential. Definitely right in the mix to find a spot in this starting 5. Maybe they do decide to move Cade to left tackle, and then maybe Spraggins slides in at right guard. I don't know. A lot of questions, surrounding this offensive line. Again, like I said earlier, like some of you guys have mentioned in the comments, they clearly have problems with the depth. But, even just seeing who, how this starting 5 shapes up, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Who is your starting 5 left to right on this offensive line? I'll get crazy. I'll say maybe they do get nuts and move Cade Mays to left tackle. And then I'll go, Carvin, Cooper Mays at center, Spraggins, right guard, Darnell Wright, right tackle. I don't know. Like I said, I could run down the entire depth chart. I could rattle off names, heights, weights, all that stuff. I'm not going to do that. You guys can look that information up. There's just a lot of concern, obviously, with depth, and it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting to see how this starting lineup looks left to right. I really have no idea what they're going to do. Again, we are going to go live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All 4 of us will be on. We'll be breaking down spring practice. Again, kicks off Thursday. Be looking for the Indy kid to drop a video talking about the defense. More info. We're going to put out as much content as we can. The good thing is Tennessee is going to be opening up practice to the media. So we'll be able to get some practice reports, hopefully get, our eyes on some of these guys that we want to see step up, those receivers, the running backs, get an idea of what Josh Heupel is going to do with this team. Everything with Jeremy Pruitt was so secretive. Nobody was ever ready. You don't know why. You don't know who's taking snaps, who's doing this, who's doing that. Hopefully, with the way Josh Heupel is running things, we're going to be able to get an idea of what's going on down there in Knoxville. If you haven't done so yet, please do hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. Again, join us tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time as we go live. If you'd like to show some love to the channel, you can pick up some Talkin VAWLS merch. The link to that is in the description. It's just bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. All the merchandise is there. If you'll check it out, pick some up. If you've got Talkin VAWLS merch, post a picture on social media, tag Talkin VAWLS, throw it up on Twitter, tag us. Love seeing you guys representing this show. It is just as much your show as it is ours. We appreciate all of the support. But again, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Look forward to hanging out with you guys live tonight at 7 o'clock. Should be a lot of fun. But for the Talkin VAWLS Network, my name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs howl like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we draw home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive. The dogs howl like me.